Auditor is conducting an audit of a manufacturing unit. The manufacturing unit is based in Chennai and they have a branch in the northeastern part of India. Now, in such branch, he found that the child labor were exclusively being employed. Now, the auditor raised an objection that it's a non-compliance of the labor law. However, management said that it is outside the purview of his audit and the auditor is not supposed to look into such requirements. Now, is this acceptable? Is this provision acceptable? Is the question. If you see SA 250, consideration of laws and regulation in the audit of financial statement, the management is responsible for compliance of all the laws and regulation. The auditor is not responsible to prevent any non-compliance and he cannot be expected to detect any non-compliance of laws and regulation. That is not the responsibility of the auditor. The auditor has to obtain a reasonable assurance that whether the financial statements are prepared as per the applicable financial reporting framework and the financial statements are free from material misstatement due to fraud and error. Now, in conducting the audit of financial statement, the auditor should take into account that what are the applicable legal and regulatory framework. First of all, for the compliance of provision of laws and regulation, the auditor should consider the direct effect of, or you can say he has to consider the direct effect of the material amounts and disclosure in the financial statement. The auditor's responsibility is to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence regarding compliance of the provision of laws and regulation. Such laws and regulation which has a direct effect on the amounts and disclosures in the financial statement, which has a material effect on the amounts and disclosure in the financial statement. For other laws and regulation that do not have a direct effect on the determination of amounts and disclosure in the financial statement, but the compliances may be necessary to ensure that it is fundamental to the operating aspects of the entity. Now, in such case, the auditor's responsibility is limited to undertake specified audit procedures to state that is there any non-compliance of other laws and regulation which may highlight actually, which may have an impact on the financial statement. Now, in this case, the company has engaged child labor, which is a non-compliance of law. The auditor questions the management that this is not acceptable. Now, in such case, the management is stating that auditor is not supposed to check all these non-compliances because it does not have a bearing on the financial statement. Their contention is absolutely wrong. The auditor here in such case should ensure that whether all the provisions of laws and regulations are duly complied. Is there instances of non-compliance of law that he has to check? The auditor also should ensure that if there are instances of non-compliance which has a material effect on the amounts and disclosure in the financial statement, and in such case the auditor should go ahead and give a modified opinion as per SA 705. Now, in this case, the auditor may either give a qualified opinion or adverse opinion for such instances of non-compliance of the laws and regulation. The contention of the management is absolutely wrong. Okay, we'll go ahead.